I built something so unique and I'm excited to share it with you. I built a virtual global book of business around the world, multi six-figure business, working with billionaires, multimillionaires, and high-level executives and professional athletes. And I've done this over the course of almost 30 years. I've learned and I've worked almost 10 to 12 hours a day, some 7 days a week. Now I cut it back to 6. But I'm going to explain to you how I built this business, how I do it so unique, and how I gain the retention and trust of all my clients. Now, first thing when you do is when you work with me, I will never start working out with you. All right, that's a cookie cutter approach. I already failed you right there. I need to understand exactly one, what your individual need is. Now, what I want to actually tell you what I can do, I want to hear exactly what you need so I can put those puzzle pieces together the correct way to create a long, sustainable chain. When you're going to sit with me, you're going to do an hour-and-a-half nutritional consultation and a blueprint of your lifestyle. Now, we're going to go very, very deep into nutrition. We're also going to go into the exercises that you're currently doing and the things you've tried but have actually failed, because we want to go on a different path for that, basically. Number two is also we're going to talk about asymmetries, muscle imbalances, injuries that you've had, the reasons why you think you failed those other attempts, because so many people have tried so many things, right? And that's why we have an epidemic of obesity in the world, because they're not actually probably looking at something that happens to everyone when we're younger. And that's post-traumatic stress issues. That's triggers that happen that make people basically not love themselves, have the self-respect or self-worth. Let me share an example with you. I had a client who lost over 140 pounds. Sounds great. He did it in a year. Amazing job. The guy said that he was a prisoner when he first came to me. He had two choices. One, he was going to be put into the ground, or two, he's going to live a better quality life and sustainable life. That's more important than anything. Unfortunately, the guy tripped and fell and he gained 28 pounds back. I talked to him on the phone and he said, Dave, I really want to set my mind back. I really want to get really strict. I want to start weighing my food again. I want to do everything that gave me that success. That sounds like a really great approach. But to me, once again, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So I knew we couldn't go with that same approach. I've been working with this guy for a year. And when you work with me, we also talk about the emotional stresses and traumas that happen into your life once we build that rapport and you trust me more. And that takes some time. I understand that. We talked about setting up with a psychiatrist. I've been very blessed to have a lot of different practitioners that I work with. One psychiatrist is the head of the Betty Ford Clinic as the director for addiction. I knew that this guy had food addiction issues, and I knew that he had triggers that he could not prevent. He knows, based on education I provided him over this year, that he should not have that choice of food, that he should not do this. But unfortunately, he still does that. He does not care. So I knew I had to take care of the traumas in his past. The next factor we want to do is we want to actually look at the scope of your health. I'm going to set you up with a doctor as a blood test. And it's not just a comprehensive blood panel. That is very basic. That only shows you a certain set of blood markers for yourself. For example, when you get a comprehensive blood panel, it's going to talk about your testosterone, but it's not going to talk about your free testosterone. How much of that total testosterone is actually available into your body, and especially vitamin D3. That's never on a comprehensive blood panel. And that's the most important vitamin and the most efficient vitamin in the United States, in America. You have to look at a whole scope. Usually about 100 markers is what we're actually going to do for them. And we're going to look at everything from minerals, nutrients, and vitamins. And we're never going to supplement for the sake of supplementing or that it sounds cool. We're only going to do that based on the deficiencies and the optimal level that their body needs so they can improve their longevity and their optimal health. Next one I want to do is I want to find out what's going on inside their body. I want to know, more importantly, about a DEXA scan. DEXA scan, remember, is 99.9% accurate. That is the only FDA scientific validated way to basically measure your body composition. And it just doesn't measure your lean muscle tissue, your fat mass, your body fat, or your weight. It's going to measure your visceral fat. It's going to measure your bone density. It's also going to tell me about inflammation when it's stored in your body. It's going to tell me if your body burns fats or carbohydrates first. And then there's another great test that you should add to this called the RMR, rested metabolic rate. This test is going to utilize basically oxygen in a perceived way that how many calories your body basically burns at a resting state. Remember, that's called basal metabolic rate. Now, that's a really great, accurate way. Once again, this is 99.9% accurate. So that data I collect, I know exactly how many calories you need based on your individual need and the percentage of protein, carbs, and fats. Now, based on what we're trying to accomplish, I'm going to set you up with a meal plan that's structured and devised towards you. We're going to go over all your excuses, the reason why you failed, and I'm going to go over those objectives on how we can get that done. For an example, my client travels all the time around the world. I'm going to set up his private jet with his stewardess. I'm going to call the chefs at the restaurant that I know that he's going to and make sure he has the right appropriate food. I'm going to make sure that he packs the right food. I'm going to provide him with exercise equipment that he can travel with and still get a functional workout anywhere around the world. He's going to still meet me, even though it's in different time zones. Like I said, I train clients from all over the world at all different time zones. From Singapore, this morning I was just in Paris, then in Hamptons. And once again, I built this global book of business by word of mouth. Your clients are your billboards. The value that they offer, the services, and the result that you get them can be unmatched. And they're going to tell 10 different people for you. And that's exactly what happens. And that's what happened to me. The next factor that is very, very important is meal delivery services. I'm going to work with a chef. I'm going to create a meal delivery service for them. I'm going to order their Amazon stuff, whatever it is that they need to do. The concierge service that I provide will be the highest level for them. They're going to see an orthopedic surgeon, a physical therapist, a chiropractor, set them up with a massage therapist, anything that they need to do to run their body at 100% max level. Not just basically functional here, but also cognitive too as well, so they can perform everyday tasks and not feel challenged or depressed.